Okay world, so welcome to 2025. Today's video is about my dog Soul and about how I, as a professional dog trainer, went about selecting my dog. Soul comes from a very prestigious bloodline. We'll be talking about that a little bit. We'll be talking about the kennel he comes from. We'll also be doing tips about how you can select your pup even although you are not a professional dog trainer. So in one of the previous videos, I said if you would like to learn more about Soul's breeders,
put in a blue heart in the comments below.
This video is for you. If you drop that heart, we're making this video just for you. I've been training dogs now for 15 years, which means that I have friends that are also dog trainers. And of course, when it's time to get a Border Collie puppy, what's the first thing I do? Is I call my Border Collie people. So I called my friend Jason Vasconi out of Texas, and because he has a Border Collie and he competes in herding with his dog. So I called him and I was like, Jason, I'm thinking about getting a Border Collie. At that time, I wasn't even 100% sure. I was just kind of like, maybe I'll get a Border Collie. I was talking to Jason about that and he's like, well, you know what? Border Collies are great. They can do whatever you want them to do. And I know somebody who has Border Collies on the ground right now. This person is a herder, somebody who competes in herding and all that. So he gave me some information. And then from there, I was able to contact the breeders. Soul's breeders registered him, obviously. And this is his certificate of registration. The male owner of the dog, his sire, that's what they call the male dog, is Roy ABC. And the female was Ren ABC. Of course, Roy, I believe, was a champion herding dog. I think Ren may have been too. So these puppies were very popular. But of course, I got a little bit of it in there because my friend competes with these people on a regular basis. I spoke with Stephanie Gorak. She was my main contact. Also, Steven Reidenauer, I hope I pronounced that right. He also competes in herding, but he was also the former president of the American Border Collie Association. Now, the American Border Collie Association was created to really promote working Border Collies rather than conformation Border Collies. They wanted dogs that would actually go out in the field and get the sheep and bring them in, right? So that's what their main focus is. All right, so to tell you the truth, I've worked with a few Border Collies. I could tell you some stories about some of the most difficult dogs I worked with were actually Border Collies. And these Border Collies were the same kind of thing. Most of the time, the problems that we're dealing with are dogs that have high anxiety issues. You know, nervousness, shyness, uncertainty, sound sensitivity, light sensitivity. It was hard for them to make friends with people. They would snap and bite and things like that, mainly due to fear more than true aggression, right? And that was a lot of the conformation dogs. I had a couple experiences of meeting and working with briefly true herding Border Collies. And these dogs were friendly with people, they were stable, they weren't anxious, they were ready to go and get the sheep. In my experience with Border Collies, and not only Border Collies, but other dogs bred for conformation shows, for beauty contests, I noticed that those dogs had more anxiety, whether it's German Shepherds, whatever the breed is. They tend to have more anxiety, and I think it's because the people who are breeding them are selecting for looks rather than their ability to do a job. If the dog is beautiful, does it matter if their temperament is off, that they're a little bit more anxious? No, because they're still gonna win the show. They're still gonna bring me in money. I'm still gonna be able to breed them out and get other people who wanna win conformation shows to purchase them at a high price because they won before, you know, and that kind of thing can continue. But when you're getting with a working dog, they don't have time to be anxious. You have to go get the sheep. First person I called was I believe Stephanie, and she told me about the puppy. She told me that they were down. I said, Stephanie, I'm a dog trainer. I would like a really good looking black and white border collie. I don't really want a Merrill. I want a clean looking dog. That's him. So I wanted a clean looking dog. So at the time, this guy here was about 4 weeks old. We got up on WhatsApp. I watched a little video with the dogs. I told him, I don't have any sheep. I live in Boston. I'm not getting this dog to herd sheep. I like to compete with different disciplines with the dog, maybe agility, maybe some frisbee, definitely Raleigh. Maybe we would do some GRC, just a bunch of things. Really, to tell you the truth, I want to do a bunch of different disciplines. So I don't want a dog that's just gonna do agility, right? So we're talking, and then, we ended up talking about Soul a lot, and I saw him on the videos. I saw how he was acting, his demeanor, as much as I could see through video. I was also able to see the area where he was being kept, at least when they were shooting the videos and things like that. So I could see a little bit as to what was going on, but really I was trusting my friend, and I was trusting the fact that these guys who are breeding these dogs have worked these dogs for like 40, 50 years. And then I flew down to Texas when he was a little over 8 weeks old to pick him up. And that's where video 1 starts. So how do you select a puppy if you're not a dog trainer, and if you you don't have as many people in your community who work with different breeds of dogs and things like that? The best thing that you can do is to contact a trainer in your area. One of the things you have to do anyway when you get a dog is you have to build your team. You have to get your vet, you have to get your walkers, especially in the city. I don't know, country life is different. I'm really talking to urban and suburban people. You have to get your team together. Who's gonna watch the dog? Where's the dog gonna be kenneled when you go on vacation, if you're able to do such thing? You want your vet, who's gonna take care of my dog's medical needs? You want your walkers. Who's gonna come and walk my dog when I'm out, doing my work? The fourth thing is your dog trainer. Who's gonna help me to make sure that I create a life for my dog that the dog is gonna enjoy, gonna help me to eliminate problems, gonna help me to select the right dog. So that is a dog trainer's role. You could definitely reach out to me virtually, and I'll be able to help you through the process. I have connections, but all dog trainers should have connections to other dog trainers and people who are breeding dogs. Now, one of the things that your dog trainer will help you to do, even from a distance when they're helping you to select the right breeder, is that they're gonna be concerned about the temperament of your dog, right? The temperament of your pup. A dog that has a temperament that's a problem for me can be perfect for somebody else, right? A dog that is a little bit too shy meeting other people might be perfect as an emotional support dog for me by myself, as long as the dog knows not to really hurt people. So your dog trainer, by talking to you, can help you to understand which kind of dog temperaments and personalities you might want. And then they put you in contact with a reputable breeder who understands their dogs and understands birth order has an effect on temperament, and understands genetics have an effect on temperament. They could look at their puppies and say, this one is most likely to be more assertive. This one is more likely to be middle of the pack. This dog is more likely to get really concerned, or they forgive less. So if you make a mistake, they're going to be really concerned about that mistake for a long time. So a breeder, knowing their dogs, can help you to select the right temperament and personality for you in your life. Good dog. Good dog. You'd make a good therapy dog for YouTubers who have to sit and listen to their producers tell them to sit in the chair and have to do light checks and have to talk louder and talk quieter and sit lower and sit higher. You'd be good for that. Off. Get off. Hey, over there. My first dog, Mighty Bones, when I was ready to get a dog, he was actually the first dog that I went to see. Puppies are cute. That's why. Most people if they want a dog, the first puppy they see, they're taking that puppy home. If they go to a backyard breeder or to any breeder or even to adoption shelter, and there's one puppy there, they will look at that one puppy and they will take that puppy home. Most people will. Most people, if there's multiple puppies there, then they're leaving there with at least one of those puppies. And sometimes a breeder will be like, oh, I only have 2 left. Why don't you take these 2 puppies? To double their income right away and all that kind of thing. So you have to be careful when you go. My biggest tip for people who are gonna look for puppies and look at puppies is go before the puppy's ready to go home with you. If you can, go see that puppy at 4 weeks old, when there's no way that puppy can come home with you at 4 weeks old or 3 weeks old. That way you could kind of talk to the breeder going forward. You leave there, you don't have the puppy, you could listen, you could check into things, and then you can always go back and purchase that puppy, later, So that is my biggest tip. Now there's a lot of puppy mill breeders out there. Puppy mill breeders are people who breed dogs just to make money from them. They really don't care where that dog ends up. So because of that, there's some tells. They won't ask you many questions. They might just be like, hey, I got a Carolina dog puppy, you want it? And then you show up or you go to their website and you realize that they're also selling Newfies and they're selling Border Collies and they're selling Puggles and they're selling Golden Doodles too. More than likely, that's a puppy mill breeder. They might not ask you anything about how you're gonna care for the dog. They might not give you any instructions or tell you it's a good idea to crate train a dog. That's important. They show little interest in where that dog is going. You want to be really cautious with a breeder like that, because if they don't care that much about where the dog ends up, then they probably don't care as much about how the dog starts life either. And that could cause us a lot of problems that you'll need to get through later. Now, a lot of the times, the puppy mill breeders, but other breeders too, backyard breeders, that's another kind of breeder that you want to get to know. Let's talk about backyard breeders real quick. Backyard breeders are people who just get a dog and they decide that, they look around and they see other people make money off of breeding dogs, so they want to make money off breeding dogs too. So they get a dog, they breed them, and they sell them right from the backyard. They don't do as many background checks on the dog. They're not checking the health of the dog. They're not necessarily checking pedigree of the dog. They're not going through all those things that a good breeder would do. Okay, so Frank just told me that there's actually a playlist for soul out here. I guess I should check on the channel more often and see these playlists. But anyway, if you want to see more of Soul's story, look out for the playlist. I'm sure he'll put it somewhere here. Sometimes I say it'll be right here and then it's not there, so I'm not going to do that this time, although it'll probably be right there. Damn, I did it. Damn. Like and subscribe.